David here. So another thing I discovered this week, and you're going to be surprised that you were able to do that also. So here's the thing. We go back to the reverse function. And in my previous video, I talked about how you can use the reverse function in JavaScript to reverse an array, and we saw that it actually reverse in place, so you're mutating this array right there. So if I write here initial array.reverse, I'm actually changing that initial array right there. Okay, so if we go here and then we say result, we look at res and then initial array, we see that they're exactly the same. And we settled on another approach, which is to reverse, right? So this is something that will basically do the job, and res in that case and initial array aren't the same. However, I saw something different that actually blew my mind. You could do this, you could just say sort. So what sort does? Well, sort will actually give you the array that you have in a sorted way. Like here, if we go here and then we say, let's put it at 2 and then this one at 3, you're going to see that the result is actually sorted in normal order right there. Right. But then the initial array that you get here is sorted in place. And then that value there is returned. So you can just basically say return that. If you're writing a function that needs that, you can just return it or assign that like we do here on line 4. Now, there is a way to actually do that sorting and use sorting as a way to reverse things. Right? It's actually, that's where my mind blew up, because I was like, how is that possible? So if you say that sort, you could actually pass a custom function to write your sorting thing, right? You could say A and B, right? So that's basically the two things that you're comparing each time that you're making the sorting. Don't listen to Copilot right there. So what we're going to do is basically to say, hey, we're going to say like if A minus B is positive, right? We're going to basically change the position here. So now it doesn't really know. It's complaining because it knows that, hey, I have a string here. So let's remove that string right there. And that's the beauty of using TypeScript. Use TypeScript. Okay, so now what we do here is say, hey, if we look at it, we see that now the sorting is working really well. It basically went from 1 to 3, right? And if we were to change that to -1, and then here, we see that it actually reversed that entirely. So it sorted it and then you put it in a reverse order 3, 2, 1. Look at this. What will happen if I go here and say -1? Pay attention to just what happened there. It's 1, 3, and 2. But then here it goes 2, 3, and 1. So it did reverse it. That reverse there is working, which means that, oh, well, by the way, by saying -1, -1 here, it means that I actually don't need any of that. I can just say -1, right? Okay, you can even go further. You say, okay, because you have -1 here, then you don't need A and B, right? Which means that you don't need that return here, you don't need that curly braces, and you don't need this, right? So you do that -1 there, and boom, it's completely reversed. This is exactly as writing reverse that we had before, right? It did reverse it, and if you know you don't see it really well, let me put 2 and 3 here. You're gonna see that it then goes 3, 2, 1, right? It reverses it by doing just sort and returning -1, right? Hopefully you understand the step-by-step process right there. Now, there is one thing that you need to understand once again is initial array has been sorted in place, right? So if you look at it from a simple drawing perspective here, you have 1, 2, 3 right there. And then this one here will go all the way down here. And then you will say, you have the final results is going to be 3, 2, 1, right? So this is array A and then this is array B. These two things at the end of the day will be exactly the same. A will be equal to B. It's exactly the same, right? So that mutation there happens. However, if you look at it from the perspective of to sort, right? So let me remove that part over there, and we're gonna just keep it really simple right there. There is another function that is called toSorted. Now you can see that toSorted basically say, hey, you give me that information this way, but if we then pass that -1, we see that res, which is the result, has been reversed, so 3, 2, 1 instead of 1, 2, 3, but the initial array didn't move. It's literally at the same position. But that doesn't mean that if here you had a property like, for example, name is equal, let's say, packages, that doesn't mean that if you change in raise, so if I go raise position 0 and say, let's pass that value, let me remove that and say packages 2, 3, 4. You're changing the value of arrays here, but then it's impacting also the initial thing. So it's still it's a copy, but it's a copy. You're gonna have a different reference as an array, right? Because if you go here and you say arrays equal initial array here, if you do that, cost equal here, and then you check equal, you're gonna see that they're not equal, right? But inside they have the same reference to the object name packages, right? So this is really important to understand when you start using it. Okay, so if you want to see more of this, you can go on packages.io. We have tons of amazing content right there. And I don't want to repeat that multiple times. And you should like this video, share that with your friends, with your colleagues, because you make them better by doing so. Not gonna repeat that again. You go on packages, you're gonna find amazing content there. See you. Bye.